The best way to help humans, and circle the word humans for a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. Both of these books make the case, and it's really a wonderful case. They use different vocabulary. In this book, it is econs versus humans. And an econ always makes the right decision about everything, carefully calibrated, whereas a human doesn't think. And so, in this book and in the other book, the way to think about it is you've got Captain Kirk and you've got Mr. Spock. And if you don't know who Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock are, then you're too young and I hate your guts. But Captain Kirk would frequently act without thinking. I'm tempted to make a comment about some behaviors in current society about this. Whereas Mr. Spock always thinks through things. And this book does argue that though it would be better to always think through things, we don't. And so we need nudges. In the other book, he argues that you need to think through things. So it's interesting. All right, so back to quote number 51. The best way to help humans improve their performance is to provide feedback. Well-designed systems tell people when they are doing well and when they are making mistakes. Number 53, if you are an econ, you can skip this section of the book, unless you want to understand the behavior of your spouse, kids, other humans, and Randy Mayu. Okay. Turn number 81, everybody circle 81. This is kind of the summary of the book in a sentence or two. So to summarize, when choices are fraught, when nudgers have expertise, and when differences in individual preferences are either not important or can be easily estimated, then the potential for helpful nudging is high. Turn to page 8. So on the left, we need help. We need help to make better choices and decisions. We need this help personally and throughout our society. We could mandate changes, but there might be a better way. Providing and practicing the right nudges is that better way. So turn to page 9. So some stories and illustrations. I've already talked about the painted fly in the urinal. I read this years ago, and I first thought, oh, this guy stole it from them. It's from Chip and Dan Heath. But it turns out this book came out first. So Chip and Dan Heath stole it from this guy. There is a random, moving, loud alarm clock called Clocky. And yes, I've looked at the picture, and you set it, and it's on wheels, and if it's on the dresser, when it goes off, before it goes off, it flies off the dresser. It's very loud. And you can't reach out and get it. You have to chase it. It's not a regular pattern. As I think the other book by Chip and Dan Heath said, this is not an alarm clock for Spock. Spock says, I'm going to get up, and he gets up. So, Clocky. The author's starting place in philosophy, libertarian paternalism. You're free to choose, but nudged in the best direction. Libertarian paternalism, we think, is a promising foundation for bipartisanship. In many domains, including environmental protection, family law, school choice, we'll be arguing that better governance requires less in the way of government coercion and constraint, and more in the way of freedom to choose. What is a nudge? As we use the term, it's any aspect of the choice architecture. I would tell you to circle that, but it's in the next section. It's a great phrase. That alters people's behavior in a predictable way without forbidding any options or significantly changing their economic incentives. To count as a mere nudge, the intervention must be, circle this, easy and cheap to avoid. 5 lessons and takeaways. We all need some helpful and useful nudges. And number 5, make things easy and convenient. Really easy. Nudge improving decisions about health, wealth, and happiness. I want you to take